What is up, everybody? Ethan back tonight with a album review, not a beer review, but an album review. Haven't done one of these in a while. Wanted to get on here and do one because there's a band, specifically one of their albums that I've been listening to a ton here recently. I've always heard of them. They're a pretty famous, mostly 70s rock band. But I think they are still going on today in some form. They were formed in 1970 in our very own local Doraville, Georgia. They're a local Georgia band. Doraville's down by Atlanta, about 40 minutes from me. I used to live closer to Atlanta, or closer to Doraville, at my last place. But yeah, a very, I would say, famous band. Maybe not as famous as some of their peers, but a very famous band and the southern rock genre, the band is Atlanta Rythm Section. We'll go ahead and take the sleeve out, and this is their sixth album, Red Tape. I love that album cover of the guy playing the guitar with the red tape from the record or tape player, cassette, whatever, kind of going haywire there. Really love this album cover. This is, like I said, their sixth album. Released in April of 1976. This is the first of two albums they released that year. They were cranking out albums really fast in the early days. This was released April 1976. Later that year, they released another album, a rock and roll alternative. But this album, Atlanta Rythm Section, like I mentioned, formed in 1970. Mainly as session musicians for the actually newly opened Studio One in Doraville, which a lot of other southern rock bands like Leonard Skinner, I think Marshall Tucker, maybe a few others kind of famously recorded there. One of two famous studio recordings in Georgia, the other being Capricorn and Macon. You got Capricorn and then Studio One, which Atlanta Rythm Section kind of founded in a weird kind of way with the producer by the name of Buddy Buie. The name Atlanta Rythm Section was created and thought up by him, who was the owner of Studio One in Doraville. So yeah, they had another singer for their first album. Got another guy by the name of Ronnie Hammond from Georgia for the next couple albums. The first couple albums, I have some of them. I really like them, really kind of mellow, kind of a poppy, Eagles-like southern rock. But the reason I chose this one to review is it's probably my favorite of theirs. And the reason it is my favorite, and you got a great live shot of the band right there. The reason this is my favorite Atlanta Rythm Section album is probably because it is the most guitar-centric of their early, probably 8 albums, I would say. And let's get into the actual band. I haven't even gotten to that yet. Produced by Buddy Buie, like I mentioned, from Studio One in Doraville. You've got Ronnie Hammond on vocals, J.R. Cobb and Barry Bailey on guitars, so a 2-guitar band. Dean Daughtry on keyboards, Paul Goddard on bass guitar, Robert Nix on drums, and Buddy Buie on vocals. So I guess the manager supplied some background vocals for the band, but he is not an actual player or lead vocalist on the album. He's just the producer. Yeah. Recorded in 1976, released April 1976. This is their 6th album. So, you know, usually bands kind of find their breakthrough before their 6th album, but really it took this band a little longer to kind of find their kind of breakthrough. I think that happened really more so with Champagne Jam, released in 1978, another fantastic album. Probably their most popular, I would think, from a sales perspective, from what I've researched. But yeah, this is kind of when they came into their own. Red Tape, like I said, more guitar-centric. The songs are really crisp and well written. Just great songwriting, great playing, great vocals, great singing. I think we got a picture of the band in here. I love this picture. Look at the guys right there. There's Ronnie Hammond, the singer. I believe that is Dean Daughtry, the keyboardist. J.R. Cobb, the guitar player. Robert Nix, the drummer. I believe that is Barry Bailey, other guitar player, and that is Paul Goddard, the bassist. So, yeah, great shot of the band. Here's another little picture of them. Really love it. Really cool photograph. The track listing starts out with a song called Jukin', which is the kickoff track, and a really good, I want to say kind of Lynyrd Skynyrd type song. You know, has a great slide guitar, has a great vocal from Ronnie Hammond, just a great kind of southern boogie rock number. Really like it. The next song is a song called Mixed Emotions, which doesn't really sound anything like Allman, Skynyrd, Molly Hatchet, you know, some of those other bands that were in that genre. This is more of a pop song, almost like a Steely Dan or the Eagles, the band, you know, from the U.S., the Eagles, the famous band. You get a lot of vocal harmonies, you get a lot of pop melody, but still a phenomenal song. I'm not somebody who likes a lot of pop music, but this band, I think, brought a lot of pop elements and softer rock to hard rock, and specifically southern rock, I think, and that Mixed Emotions is just a great poppy southern rock song with a great hook and chorus. And then the next song is a song called Shanghai, which has a phenomenal riff. Almost kind of reminds me of the Eagles. What is that song called? There's a song by the Eagles that it reminds me of a lot. The name escapes me at the moment, but yeah, I love Shanghai. It just has a great riff that just kind of carries the song. Great vocal chorus again. All of these songs and this whole album just has great singing in it, great melody, just great tasty playing. Kind of understated, not overdone, not a lot of crazy solos and heavy riffs and rapid fire drumming, just more restrained, I think. And really the guitar playing fits the song rather than the song being a vehicle for guitar acrobatics, if that makes sense. The next song is a song called Police Police. Fun song, kind of a southern boogie rock number. The next song is called Beautiful Dreamers. Beautiful song, great song. Really good pop sensibility in that song. And then side 2 kicks it off with Oh What a Feeling. Great song. Phenomenal. Poppy, hooky chorus on that song. It's just so catchy. Oh What a Feeling is just a phenomenal song. It's been stuck in my head for the last couple days. Cannot stress enough how great the song Oh What a Feeling is. The guitar riff just complements the vocal chorus so well. Just enough, not too much. Like I said, it's not like your Freebird or something like that where the guitars are kind of front and center. This is where kind of the guitar lick and riff and solo kind of complements the song rather than dominates it. A little different for me. Generally, I like a lot of guitar-heavy music. This is probably one of the more softer, poppier rock bands that you'll hear me talk about. Except for maybe like the Doobie Brothers, which some people actually consider them a southern rock band, but they're actually from California, so I wouldn't really consider them a southern rock band. They're not really considered a southern rock band. They're considered basically just a California West Coast band, which is different than like the southeastern bands, you know, like CCR, also a California band. Some people say they're southern-ish in their sound, but again, that's You could argue that's arguable, you know. Oh, What a Feeling, great song, 5 out of 5. Free Spirit, the next song, sounds like the Eagles, sounds like Steely Dan. Great pop hook chorus, just a soft rock, very touching, emotional song. Just a great song, Free Spirit. And again, the guitar complements the vocal harmony so well. And then the last track, the longest track, over 9 minutes long, is the epic Another Man's Woman, which they actually featured on an earlier album, but here they kind of, you know, pump it up a little bit, juke it up, so to speak, and really kind of take it to another level. And it's a phenomenal kind of southern rock epic with just great guitar playing and actually a phenomenal bass solo from the bassist Paul Goddard, which almost gives it like this funky kind of jazzy feel, almost like a Allman Brothers type feel to that song, almost like a In Memory of Elizabeth Reed type song, the instrumental from Idle Wild South by the Allmans. Another Man's Woman, just a phenomenal song. That is a stone cold southern pop rock, hard rock anthem. I mean, that's just a phenomenal song. I mean, I would rank it up there with like Greengrass and High Tides by the Outlaws, Simple Man by Leonard Skinner. I mean, maybe some of the stuff by like Charlie Daniels or something, or Marshall Tucker. Really just kind of, I don't want to tear up my sleeve here. I'm trying to put it in. But yeah, how would I rate this album? I love it. I mean, like I said before, most of these albums that I review, I really like, and I'm not going to come on here and review them unless I really like them. So this I would give like 4.5 out of 5 stars. My favorite songs are probably Jukin', Mixed Emotions, Shanghai. The first 3 songs are just killer, one after another. Oh, What a Feeling, Free Spirit, and Another Man's Woman. Really, all the songs are great except probably Police Police. Police Police is probably the weakest song on the album for me, but still a great song. Just a good song, I'll say, not great. But when you have one song on the album that's good but not great, and the rest are just like drop dead classics and just extremely catchy, memorable, just great songs. I mean, the songwriting in this band was just phenomenal. You can kind of, the fact that they all started as session musicians before they even formed this band, you can really kind of tell that they were a well-practiced and well-rehearsed band. They didn't just kind of go in the studio and wing it. They knew how to play their instruments. I mean, 2 guitar players, a bassist, drummer, keyboardist, singer. Great group of guys. They really could play their instruments well. Like I said, Ronnie Hammond, a great singer. Possibly one of the greatest singers in Southern rock. You know, people love like, you know, your Greg Allman, your Ronnie Van Zant style of Southern rock singing, but maybe they didn't have the greatest voices from a traditional singing sense. They just had such unique voices for that genre that are iconic, and I absolutely love both those singers to death. But probably Ronnie Hammond from Atlanta Rythm Section has the better traditional singing voice out of all those guys, you could argue. Again, you know, that's arguable. You know, you could prefer one or the other, but I think from a traditional singing point of view, Ronnie Hammond probably had the best voice of this genre of what I've heard, you know. Yeah, love the album cover, love the album. And another thing I will add, this album is short. It's concise, it's to the point. There's no extra fat on it. There's no wasted space. It's in, it's out, it's over. There's nothing that's boring. There's nothing where you're kind of looking at your watch like, oh, when's this going to be over, you know? No wasted time on this album. 31 minutes, very short, barely over half an hour, and that's the way a lot of bands did it back in the 70s. Shorter albums, each song, boom, 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 just great. It's over, and I love that. It's a great listen. Please check out Red Tape by Atlanta Rythm Section. Probably my favorite album from them. I'm going to say yes, it's my favorite. With close behind it would just be the next two that came after it, Rock and Roll Alternative and Champagne Jam. This one and those two kind of are the holy trinity, if you will, of Atlanta Rythm Section. Probably their best three, released in succession. They continued on into the late 70s and 80s. I have some of those albums also. I really like them, but I think their three strongest are this one, Red Tape, Rock and Roll Alternative, and Champagne Jam. Those are probably their three best. But again, the ones before this are also really good, but I would say those are more of a traditional Southern blues rock, and this is more accessible pop, hooky, hard Southern rock, if that makes sense. But yeah, I love this album. Very concise. 4 out of 5 stars. Excellent. A Southern rock classic. Possibly underrated gem from the Southern rock catalog. They don't get mentioned a lot in kind of like the top 10, greatest Southern rock albums or bands, really. But I think this is just a phenomenal album. Highly recommend it. Atlanta Rythm Section, Red Tape. Please check it out. Really great album. Thank you for watching this album review.